By the blessing of the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, may you be well and happy. According to the Lord Buddha, there are three roots of evil. They are greed, hatred, and delusion. The Noble Eightfold Path is the one and only way to destroy those roots. We are sure the Dhamma sermon that you are going to listen will help you to follow that noble path. So we are warmly welcome the Chief Advisor of Battaramulla Panipitiya Road, Sri Sudassanarama Sadaham Senasuna, Venerable Dr. Mirisse Dhammika Thero for this Dhamma sermon. This Dhamma sermon has been sponsored by Mr. Ajit Samaravira, Mrs. Hasanthi Samaravira, Hasna Samaravira, Senudi Samaravira, and Ms. Diana Samaravira. To transfer merits towards late Mrs. Hemanta Samaravira.
Samanta Chakravalesu Atra Gachantu Devata Saddhammang Muni Rajase Sunantu Sagga Mokkadang Dhamma savana kalo ayang badanta Dhamma savana kalo ayang badanta Dhamma savana kalo ayang badanta Namo tassa bhagavato arahato Samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato Samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato Samma sambuddhassa Katamaca sabhikkhave majjhima patipada Tathagatena abhisambuddha Cakku karani jnana karani Upasamaya abhiññāya Sambodhāya nibbānāya Sangvattati Ayameva ariyo attangiko maggo Seyati dang Samma ditti samma sankappo Samma vaca samma kammanto Samma ajivo samma vayamo Samma sati samma samadhi First of all, I would like to wish and bless everyone to be well and happy by the blessings of the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Dear Dhamma friends and devotees, from this time, I would like to address everyone to be mindful with my voice. The Buddha passed away 2565 years ago. Though the Buddha is not alive, but the teachings of the Buddha is alive. Therefore, by practicing the Buddha's noble path, such as compassion and wisdom, you may see the Buddha even today, right now. Therefore, I would like to invite everyone to concentrate on my voice and then to follow the Buddha's Noble Path. Today, this Dharma Dana or sermon has been sponsored by Mr. Ajit Samarveera and Mrs. Hasanthi Samarveera, Hasana Samarveera, Senudhi Samarveera, Miss Diana Samarveera, and all family members. They are wishing to transfer merits towards departed their loving mother, who lived at Walagamba Mawata, Borupana Ratmalana. Mrs. Hemanta Samarveera, their dearest Amma, who passed away 26 years ago. That means on 23rd of October in 1995. With this Dharmadana or sermon, you are going to celebrate her virtues and her love and compassion, and then to create lots of meritorious thoughts in your mind, and then to transfer towards her to be well and happy, wherever she is at the moment. Dear Dhamma friends, according to your invitation, I would like to deliver my sermon on 8 Noble Path, Eightfold Noble Path. The Buddha taught us how to escape from this painful sansaric journey. Simply, sansara means the circle of death and birth. According to the depth knowledge of teachings, just we have to explain the sansara means arising and having dissolutions of these 5 khandhas or 5 aggregates. Now we are calling asan, it's a self or it's me. Simply you say, she's my mother, he's my father, she's my wife, he's my husband, they are our daughters and sons, etc. That means we are labeling on this self. There is no permanent self, just to we introduce and then to work with. This self is created by 5 aggregates, namely Rupa, corporality, and Vedana, feelings or sensations, Sanya, that means perceptions, Sankhara, mental formations, and Vijnana means consciousness. By these 5 aggregates, made a person we name as self. And simply, we introduce you and me. We have to walk with this self to continue this very life. When we die, this self is going to be separate or is going to have dissolution. And then we are going to say, who passed away? Dear Dhammarapins, your mother passed away, but still you remember her figure or her physical body, which is already gone, but still in your mind, mentally. You are going to create mental figure in your mind, and then to create lots of love and compassion. According to the Buddha's noble teachings, just we have to realize there are two truths, which are conventional truth and absolute truth. In Pali, Sammuti and Paramatta Satcha. According to conventional or Sammuti Satcha, just we have to introduce ourselves as me. This is my life, this is my work, and then to go with it. It is conventional. At the same time, we have to realize what's Paramatta Satcha or absolute truth is. Absolute truth, according to absolute truth, nothing to say, my or mine. Why? Everything is impermanent. Nothing is permanent. Transient are all component things. Though conventionally, we are going to maintain this body, but still, we don't have 100% control over this body. It doesn't matter how much we love each other, including myself, but still, we may leave this world keeping everything behind at any time. You may love each other by holding each other's hand. At the same time, you may murmur, I love you. I'll be there all the time. Also, I'll do everything what I could. People used to say, sometimes people used to say, I never leave you. I'll be there. You are like an apple in my eyes. People used to say, they are having lots of love in their heart. Being a virtuous person, you may act accordingly. That means you may do your duties towards each other. Of course, you have to follow your moral duties between parents and children, wife and husband, brothers and sisters, etc. But still, we have to train our mind to accept the truth of Paramatta Satcha or absolute truth. That means transient are all component things. Nothing is permanent, everything is impermanent. By training with these teachings, we are not supposed to think, oh, that means we are going to cry by thinking this way. Someone is going to invite us to cry by thinking this way. Of course not. When we realize nothing is permanent, and then what we are supposed to do? Of course, you have to be mindful. Being now. You have to live at the present moment. Live now. That means whatever thoughts you are going to create in your mind, whatever thoughts you are going to express through your mouth, whatever action you are going to put into work, but still, you have to know nothing is permanent. Anytime, it could be our final moment in our life. Therefore, we have to be virtuous people. We have to do our moral duties towards each other and then to be happy. Even on our deathbed, if we are conscious, of course, there might be lots of thoughts in our mind. If we have done lots of meritorious deeds or wholesome actions throughout of our lives, that means our lives are full of merits, and then we are able to be happy and peaceful, even at our last thought moment. We are at the door of death, but we are mindful with our consciousness. We are reminding ourselves what I have done lots of good things. Remember, if we have violated our path, what the Buddha taught us to follow, definitely it might be in our last thought moment or in our Chuti-citta, our last thought of our mind. What happened? What will be happen? Definitely, because of these evil thoughts, we are going to reborn in an unhealthy realm. That means in a bad realms or one of hells. So that's why we have to train our mind to accept this truth. Convincingly, it's me, but absolutely nothing to say my own mind. Everything is impermanent. At the first stage of this sermon, I expected to remind everybody why we are going to follow the Buddha's noble teachings. So that's why I explain simply and clearly. The Buddha said, Anamatagoyam bhikkhave sansaro pubbhakotina paññāyati. We can't see the origin. It is limitless, this sansara, this circle of death and birth. It is limitless. We are not able to count. We have suffered a lot. Still, we have been suffered because we are in this sansara. It is painful and sorrowful. Again, I would like to remind everybody, by thinking this way, we are not going to ask anyone to cry, but to be mindful, and then to be virtuous, and then to continue your mundane life at the same time to work with super mundane life. Dear Dhamma friends, today I would like to talk about how to practice Eightfold Noble Path. Katamaca sa bhikkhave majjhima patipada. What middle path is, the Buddha explained. Chakku karani, jnana karani, upasamaya, so on. Just you have to develop your mind. At the same time, you have to improve your spiritual eyes and mind. Upasamaya. You have to have serenity of your path while destroying defilements. Simply, lobha, dosa, moha. There are three major defilements. We are supposed to categorize into three. Lobha. Lobha means greed, simply. Dosa means aversion or ill will. And moha, illusion or delusion. There are three major defilements. What we are supposed to destroy or eradicate. Otherwise, we are going to have lots of defilements and then to continue this limitless sansara. We are not going to follow this sansara with lots of happiness. Mostly, we are going to follow with lots of unsatisfactoriness or suffering. There are so many pains and sorrows. So that's why the Buddha said, this journey is sorrowful, it is painful. We have dropped tears over than oceans. And then, what we are supposed to do? We have got a valuable chance. That means being a human is so rare. Dullabancha manusattam manusat patilabo dullabo. Being a human is so rare. Compared to human lives, we may have lots of experiences living with animals. Those who are living with us, that means being on this earth. We have to ask ourselves, why I did not become an animal? We have to answer for that question. according to the teachings of the Buddha, we have done lots of wholesome activities or meritorious deeds. As a result of that, we became a human. But it's short. It's passing. It's running out very fast. Therefore, we have to use for a good cause. This is what the Buddha asks. There's a Majjhima Patipada. There's a middle path. You have to improve your mind and knowledge, and then to continue to improve and develop to your consciousness. That means the spiritual path. Also, you have to have serenity and calmness within your mind by reducing defilements, greed, aversion, and illusion. Also, abhiññāya sambodhāya, nibbānāya samvattati. Your path should be to realize three characteristics of existence. Three characteristics of existence you have to learn and realize, and then put into practice. What are the three characteristics of existence? Anicca, dukkha, anatta. Namely, anicca means impermanence. Dukkha means unsatisfactoriness or suffering. And anatta means no self. There are three characteristics of existence. By knowing and practicing these three characteristics of existence, we are supposed to follow middle path. Ayameva ariyo attangiko maggo, the Buddha said. This is what? Oh, these are the path. This is the path to get enlightenment. These are the teachings the Buddha said, and then to focus on the teachings of the Buddha, which are namely samadhi. Samadhi means right views or understanding. Right views or understanding. Samadhi. Samma sankappa. Samma sankappa means right concepts or thoughts. Samma vacha, right speech. Samma kammanta, right action. Samma ajiva, right livelihood. Samma vayama, right effort. Samma sati, right concentration. And Samma samadhi. Samma sati means right mindfulness. Samma samadhi, right concentration. Dear Dhamma friends, slowly we will discuss on this middle path. When we talk about samadhi, right understanding, what right understanding is? The Buddha said, within this very life, you have to know what is right and what is not right. What is kusala and what is akusala. What is wholesome and what is unwholesome. Just we have to know. Within this life, we have to train our mind to know what is right and what is not right. Kammassa kata sammaditthi. Kattu kammata sammadhi. Kusala chanda in Pali words. That means you have to know what are the right things or kusalas or wholesome activities. The Buddha explained in his teachings, atti dinnang, atti ittang, atti hutang, ati sukata dukkhatanam kammanam palam vipako, so on. There's a result of giving or dana. There's a repercussion of good and valuable rituals. Also, there's a outcome when we practice respect towards others. There are lots of results when we practice respect towards others. We have to respect adults, parents, so on. At the same time, we have to respect ourselves, our good thoughts. We have to respect others' views, good views, which are supporting each other to survive. Of course, we have to respect humanity. What humanity is? Humanity means nothing but love and compassion. Therefore, if you want to be a human, of course you have to be a lovely and kind. We have to respect each other. At the same time, there are results of doing or following mental, verbal, and physical activities. When we follow mental, verbal, physical activities, there are good or bad results. If you are going to follow activities with pure mind, of course, we are going to have good results, which we call as happy results. At the same time, if we are going to do whatever we expect to do, it could be mental, verbal, or physical, with impure mind, padutta chitta, that means we are going to violate our path and then to collect evils or follow evils. As a result of that, definitely we are going to face for bad results. So that's why we have to know there are things, kusala and akusala. There are wholesome and unwholesome activities. We are supposed to follow wholesome activities because we can gain lots of happiness within this life and then after this life. Samadhi, mundane understanding, just we have to have. At the same time, we have to know what is super mundane understanding, super mundane views. That means in Pali, Lokuttara. It goes over mundane life. This is what I explained at the beginning of this sermon. There are two truths. Remember? Sammuti and Paramattha. Conventional and absolute truth. Conventional is me, but absolutely nothing to say my own mind. Simply for example, for instance, it doesn't matter how much we love each other. It doesn't matter how much love myself. How many times we are going to brush up our teeth per day. We are going to brush our teeth, comb our hair, wash our face, clean our body. There are so many things we are going to take care of our body, our life. But still, when we get sick and old, we become innocent and helpless. Even today, all over the world, this corona pandemic is spreading very fast. We have done everything to protect ourselves, but still, people are struggling all over the world to protect people, to protect themselves. See, conventional is me, but absolutely nothing to say my own mind. When we practice super mundane path, by knowing this truth, we are not supposed to attach to the things or attach to anyone by thinking it is permanent. It's having a permanent entity. By thinking this way, we are not going to handle with anything. We are not supposed to handle with anything. Of course, we have to tackle with everybody and with everything. But we have to train our mind, or we have to be mindful with the real nature of this life and the sansaric journey. That means, as I explained, transient are all component things. Sabbe sankhara anicchate. Otherwise, when we see something or when we look at someone or something, we are going to attach to that and we create greed. And then to fight to get it. If I am not able to get it, we are going to have aversion or ill will. Simply say, we are going to get angry. Because it doesn't happen as I expected to be. So that's why we are going to get angry. If I like it, I love it, and then we are going to fight it to get it. You know the nature of this untrained mind? Before getting something, we are fighting to get it. After we got it, we are losing the taste. That's the ordinary human mind's nature. The nature of ordinary human mind. The nature of ordinary human is like that. So that's why, being virtuous people, we have to work with, but you have to be mindful. Nothing is permanent. Everything is impermanent. And then, when we talk about your family, of course, between parents and children, wife and husband, brothers and sisters, of course, you have to follow your duties. We have to say, those should be moral duties. Of course, you have to do your moral duties. That means you have to protect. When we talk about parents, Papa nivaranti, kalyane nivesenti, sippan sikkapenti, so on. Parents have to avoid. Parents have to make their children to avoid evils and then to show the path of wholesome activities, which are full of compassion and wisdom, which is full of compassion and wisdom. Parents has to make their children to follow. At the same time, parents have to give a bright and better education, worldly education to their children. Of course, they have to do it. But still, we don't have any kind of responsibilities when we get sick and old. Temporarily, we may go through treatments, but finally, there may be lots of failures. Doctors may say, we can't do anything. We have done everything what we could. Now is completed. We can't do anything. It is completed. Those are the words from our doctors. That's not the problem of their part, but still, we have to realize this is the real nature of this life or journey. Therefore, convincingly you may hold each other's hands. At the same time, you may say, I love you, my darling. But still, you have to keep your mind trained to accept the truth of impermanence. And then, you are able to make your mind when you leave each other. That's the real nature of life. Has sanyoga viyoganta, all kind of meetings end in departure. We can avoid it. That's the nature. If we came to this world, we have to go through. That means meeting and separation. Those are the part of this lives. Therefore, we are supposed to train our mind to avoid evils and then to eradicate all kind of defilements which came from our past lives. Being mindful, we are not supposed to create new karma or evil activities. We are supposed to create good karmas, wholesome activities, which are free from greed, averse, greed, hatred, and illusion. As I explained, even parents and children, you may have a very good relationships, but still, nothing is permanent. Anytime we may leave each other. Why we are going to cry by thinking this way? That's the nature. If you are traveling in this sansaric journey, we have to face for these kind of things. So that's why the Buddha said, it is dukkha, it is suffering. Birth is suffering. Sicknesses is suffering. Old age is suffering. Departing from loved one is suffering. Associating with unfriendly people is suffering. Not getting what we want is suffering. In short, this whole life is suffering. Dear Dhamma friends, again I would like to remind everybody, by thinking this way, not to cry, but to be mindful and then to work harder, to study, to make money rightfully. When I talk to lay people, of course you have to have money and wealth to survive happily. Of course, being virtuous people, you have to do it. According to your wish, you can get married and then have children, do your duties, and then to live happily. All the time, train our mind to accept the truth of impermanence. That means I'm not going to hold anything in my mind by thinking it is permanent. If I'm going to create kind of thoughts related to by thinking it is permanent, definitely we are going to have lots of pains and sorrow. When we leave each other, when the things decay, that's the nature. This is what we have to train our mind to accept the truth of right understanding, samadhi. Dear Dhamma friends, do you think when we talk about like this, we are losing kind of happy thoughts in our mind? Of course not. We are going to lose our happy thoughts because of our ignorance. Without knowing the real nature of this life, we are going to attach to the things or attach to people, and then when it changes or when they leave each other, we get upset. Some people used to even to commit suicide. So that's why this life is short. Though we are claiming we may live for 100 years time, 100 years long, but still everybody is not able to continue that much time. Dear Dhamma friends, we have to train our mind to accept the truth of impermanence and then to be happy all the time. Anytime I may leave this world, keeping everything behind, it doesn't matter how much I love, but still, everything is impermanent. Samadhi, Samma Sankappa. Samma Sankappa means right concepts or right thoughts. Nekkhamma Sankappa. You have to have loving kindness thoughts. You have to have Nekkhamma Sankappa. Harmless thoughts. Nekkhamma Sankappa. Harmless thoughts. Nekkhamma Sankappa. You have to thoughts of renunciation. You have to have thoughts of renunciation. Nekkhamma Sankappa. Renunciation. Of course, still you are working harder to study, work, and then to continue your lives. But still, I'm not going to attach to the things by thinking it is permanent. I don't have any strong feelings of by saying it's me, it's mine, like that. Nekkhamma Sankappa. And Avyapada Sankappa means you have to have kind and lovely thoughts in your mind. You don't have angry feelings in your mind. Avyapada sankappa. You are so peaceful all the time. Of course, there are things when we live on this earth, of course there are kind of things. You may claim it is a problem, it's a kind of difficulties. There are kind of difficulties you may say. But still, we have to maintain our peaceful mind. We have to act accordingly with lovely word, with right action. Avyapada sankappa and avihimsa sankappa. Avihimsa sankappa means always just you have to follow harmless path. We don't want to practice any kind of harmful things. I don't like someone is going to beat. Nobody wants to be beaten by anyone else. By thinking this way, just we have to respect each other. Samma sankappa, right thoughts. Dear Dhamma friends, people used to say, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Why? I met with you. I met such a lovely person like you. I'm so happy. I got a mother, such a lovely mother, kind mother like you. I got such a lovely and kind father like you. We know, anytime we may leave each other, but still, I'm so happy being with you. See, if you are going to have good thoughts and concepts in our mind, we are going to be happy all the time. Right understanding, right thoughts, samma sankappa, and right samma vacha. Samma vacha means right speech. We have to refrain from lying, musavada. And pisunavacha, musavada. Pisunavacha. Pisunavacha means tale-bearing or slanderous words. We have to refrain from slanderous words. And parusavacha, that means malicious words or harsh words. We have to refrain from harsh words. And then finally, sampappalapa, we have to refrain from foolish babbles or gossip or empty words, which are doing lots of harmful things towards ourselves and others. We have to practice right speech or samma vacha. You know, sometimes people used to say, though you are not going to harm with a weapon, but with your words, you are harming me. You did lots of bad things to me because of your words, because of your way of expressions, your way of expressions. Those are evil. Those are so bad and nasty. Why you did it to me is better if you did something with a weapon. You wounded my heart and mind. It is terrible. It is so harmful. Why you did it to me. It is so painful. Therefore, we have to protect our words. Simply we say we have to protect our mouth. You know, if we are going to create pure thoughts in our mind, definitely we are not going to use that kind of words. Lying, slanderous words, harsh words, and foolish babbles or empty words. We know it's bad. It's lots of evils, unwholesome thoughts, which are engaged in unwholesome activities. We have to protect our mind from evils. At the same time, we are not supposed to put into work because it's creating lots of problems towards myself and others. We have to protect our mouth. Samma vacha. Samma kammanta. Samma kammanta means right action. Right action. We have to avoid killing, stealing, and sensual misbehavior or misconduct. Samma kammanta. What does it mean? We have to abstain from killing, stealing, which is not belongs to us. We have to respect others' belongings. Also, we have to refrain from sensual or sexual misconduct. We have to respect each other's bonds, those who created in their families. We have to respect each other. There are so many problems within families because they violated their family bonds. And then their children become innocent because of their parents' misbehavior. We have to ask our people, if you are going to get married, respect each other. Protect your family bonds. And then to purify your evil thoughts. And then to follow pure thoughts, which are free from greed, hatred, and illusion, which are free from lobha, dosa, moha. Again, I would like to repeat, dear Dhamma friend, conventionally, you have to have kind of wishes and expectations, but should be virtuous. You are not supposed to violate any rules which are promulgated in Dhamma or in our Buddhist philosophy. At the same time, there are some rules in our society which are governed by rulers in a country. Of course, we have to respect each other. At the same time, we have to train our mind to accept the truth of nothingness or impermanence. We may leave each other anytime. We may leave everything anytime, keeping everything behind. If you are going to hold everything or everybody, it could be mentally, it could be mental or physical, but still, we are going to have lots of pains and sorrow because we held by thinking is permanent. I can't forget your face, your behavior, your action, your relationship, people used to say. And then, according to its nature, when it changes or leaves, they may get upset and then have lots of distress and stress and depressions in their mind. Samma kammanta. At the same time, we have to think about, when we talk about refraining from killing, of course, finally you may say, I did not kill anyone. But if you have jealousy, hatred, aversion, ill will in your mind, some people are physically all right. They are not violate any rules according to the country constitution. But mentally, they are having lots of evil thoughts in their mind. They may wish others to die. They may wish others to lose their properties and wealth. See, that means physically they are all right because of their appearance, because of their clothes or jewelries, or their skin color. They are all right. But mentally, they are not right. They are bad. They are evil. So that's why we have to respect when we talk about samma kammanta. At the same time, we are not supposed to steal anything which is not belongs to us. We have to be honest. And then we have to respect family bonds. Just I explained clearly. Samma ajiva, right livelihood. Of course, you have to follow a right livelihood. You have to have a job or duties, but should be righteous. Without stealing, killing, or doing other bad things, according to our Buddhist philosophy, you have to make money. You have to make money. Why? You have to expend your money for your living expenses, living expenses. Of course, there are so many things. When we talk about your family, you have to expend your money for your food, accommodations, clothes, medications, children's education, etc. Sometimes for illnesses, you have to expend lots of money. Therefore, you have to make money, but should be righteous. Rightfully, you have to earn and then to spend. That's all right. You can follow government jobs, duties. At the same time, agriculture and trade field. Of course, you are supposed to, but you are not supposed to violate by doing any kind of hidden or secret evil things. Should be rightful, right livelihood, samma jiva. Samma vayama, right effort. You have to avoid evils. There are evil things not yet arisen in your mind. You have to avoid those things. At the same time, you have to stop evil things not yet happen in your mind. You know, those are the evil activities I never violated. I'm not going to create in my mind right now or even in my future. At the same time, you couldn't create wholesome activities, which are the noble activities, but still I couldn't create. Of course, I have to work harder to follow these wholesome activities right now, even tomorrow or even in future. At the same time, you have to make yourself, make your mind to continue what you have lots of good things already in your mind. You have to produce it, you have to develop it, and then to continue. You don't want to leave this noble path. It's already in your mind, according to the Buddha's noble teachings. Right effort, samma vayama. And samma sati. Samma sati means right mindfulness, contemplation on your body or corporeality, and contemplation on your feelings or sensations, and contemplation on your mind, and contemplation on mind objects. Kayanupassana, Vedananupassana, Chittanupassana, and Dhammanupassana. Attikayoti vapanassa sati pachupattita hoti. Of conventionally, there's a life or body, but still it's not permanent. By knowing this truth, I have to work accordingly. Anytime I may leave, even this body. Anytime I may leave my close members and relatives, including mother, father, wife, husband, children, brothers and sisters, so on. Not only that, also my all kind of properties and wealth, it may leave. That means I will leave these properties and wealth, everything. We have to train our mind to be mindful with our body, with our feelings, with our mind, also with our mind objects. And samma samadhi, that means right concentration. We have to detach our mind from sensual desires and then to continue wholesome things and then to attain into jhanas or absorptions, patama jhana. First absorption, second absorption, third absorptions, and fourth absorptions. Means strongly we have suppressed our sensual desires and then to follow wholesome activities, to reduce greed, hatred, and illusion, and then to piti sukha ekagata, selfless happiness, selfless happiness. Of course, without asking for anything in return, we may look, we may hear, we may taste, we may contact, and we may think. That means without asking in anything without asking for anything in return, we are going to act accordingly. That's the kind of very strong stage of this path. Samma Samadhi. Those are the eightfold path. We have to follow according to mundane way of teachings. At the same time, we have to follow super mundane of path. That means Sasava Punya Bhagya and Anasava Arahanta. Still we are not enlightened. And then to practice wholesome activities. Sasava Punya Bhagya. At the same time, Arahanta, Anasava, those who will to attain in Nibbana and then to reduce all kind of defilement, finally eradicate all kind of cravings. Anasava Arahanta. Those are the teachings what the Buddha asked us to follow with Majjhima Patipada, middle path. Dear Dhamma friends, be mindful. You have to be virtuous people. At this moment, that means throughout of our lives, at the same time train your mind to accept the truth, departure. Anytime leave me this world. Anytime we may leave this world, keeping everything behind. And then to be happy, be peaceful all the time. When you have kind of problems or difficulties, find solutions, but not to cry, because that's the nature of this sansaric journey. So that's that the Buddha asks us to stop having birth. Otherwise, throughout of sansaric journey, we may drop lots of tears. It could be over than oceans. By the blessings of the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, may you be well, happy, and finally attain supreme Nibbana. Dear Dhamma friends, this Dhammadana has been sponsored by Mr. Ajit Samaravira and Mrs. Hasanti Samaravira, Hasana Samaravira and Senudi Samaravira, Miss Diana Samaravira, and all family members. For our dearest Amma, late Mrs. Hemanta Samaravira, who lived at Gamba Mawata, Borupana, Ratmalana. Mother passed away 23rd of October in 1995. That means 26 years ago, Madam Hasanta Samaravira passed away. She's your beloved mother. We are able to transfer merit towards your beloved mother to enjoy in this merit and then to escape from this sorrowful sansaric journey and then to attain supreme Nibbana. Also, you are wishing to transfer merits towards departed Mrs. Hemanta's mother, Mr. Dharmadasa father, Upul Ranjan brother, Ayanti Akka, Upali Samaranayaka, Ranjit Sandanayaka, Vijay Singh parents, Ranjit's parents, Upali's parents, all our mother and sisters, relatives, may all relatives be well and happy and then to attain in supreme Nibbana. Also, they wish to bless and wish towards Ajit Hasanta, Hasna Dua, Senudi Dua, Diana Dua, Miss Malika Samaranayaka, Lakshmi Sandanayaka, Rasika Vijay Singh and family, Priyanti Vijay Singh and family, Bandula Hevavasam and Vimalka Gunasara and all our family members. Also, you are willing to wish these noble people from this Dharmadana all blessings need to go, Venerable Dr. Mirisse Dhammika Thero, Venerable Borlande Vajiranyana Nayaka Thero, and they will to wish happy birthday for Ajit and Senudidua. Blessings for all staff members of Sambodhi Viharaya. By the blessings of the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, may you be well and happy. And finally, let's transfer merits towards especially departed your loving mother, Mrs. Hemanta Samarvira, and other departed relatives by reciting Idanvo Nyati Nang Hotu together. Idanvo Nyati Nang Hotu Sukhita Huntu Nyatayo. Idanvo Nyati Nang Hotu Sukhita Huntu Nyatayo. Idanvo Nyati Nang Hotu Sukhita Huntu Nyatayo. All kind deities of gods, by absorbing merits, may they be well and happy. At the same time, may they provide good health, safety, and happiness towards all of you. Please recite Akasatthacha together. Akasatthacha Bummattha Devanaga Mahiddhika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakhantu Sasanang Chirang Rakhantu Desanang Chirang Rakhantu Lokasasanang. By the blessings of the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, may you be well and happy, finally attain supreme Nibbana.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. We would like to thank and wish the Chief Advisor of the Battaramulla Panipitiya Road, Sri Sudasanarama Sadham Senasuna, Venerable Dr. Mirisse Dhammika Thero, for his Dhamma sermon with compassion. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.